Hello, everyone. Y'all, it's been a busy day here. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Hopefully, you've been having a good week so far. Let me check. I see a couple people have commented. Um, I think that it's Mercury retrograde and retrograde, so there's always some kind of technological glitch. I feel. However, we're just rolling with it. Not trying to get too kind of upset about the delays that happen in life. Um, so we're here now, and we're gonna hopefully have a good time. I see Suzanne is watching. Hi, Suzanne. Danette is watching. Hi, Danette. Harry's watching. Hi, Harry. Marianne's watching. Hi, Marianne. Sandra from Sweet Pea Gemstones is here. Hey, Sandra. Let's see. It's been a super busy day. So Susan's here. Cheryl's here. Yeah, we've been running a little bit ragged. Um, on Wednesdays, William is at his other, he's at his pottery class. So it's a little bit like we're passing batons. So I had to wait for him to come home to get this stuff because we have some restock in and some new things for the Halloween collection. So the restock it should be automatically updated. If it didn't update already, then it is going to happen after the live. And then we also have some new things that are part of the Halloween collection that we did not add yet. So that's a new thing. And then we have some more fundraiser lots, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a little bit. And then, yeah, so it's been super busy today. I always feel like, I don't know, like I'm constantly running behind on Wednesdays. So, um, I don't know about y'all, but I'm warm. I finally figured out how to turn the air down, so I did that, and I'm a little bit of a sweaty mess, but that's all right. Anyways, so hopefully you all are doing well. If you're watching, say hello and say where you're tuning in from. It's always nice to see where folks are watching. Yeah, so it's been super busy. We were planning to have some VIPs come in on Friday, but unfortunately, some of them got sick, so that got canceled. So unfortunately, we won't get to see you if you're watching, but hopefully you feel better. And I don't know if you're sick or the people in your party are sick, but if you're not sick, I hope you don't get sick. And if you are sick, I hope you feel better. So we've been busy, busy, busy getting stuff ready. If you didn't see yesterday's live, we started some fundraiser lots, and I kind of cracked the case on some of my vintage glass collection. I focus mostly on strands because it's a little easier to show. I have probably, I don't know how many, probably 200 bins, divider boxes, kind of like this flavor, full of different um, glass and gemstones and stuff. So I don't know if people are interested in seeing that. It does take longer to prepare, so that's one of the reasons why I haven't. I feel like the height. Whenever I switch with William, it's always like I feel like I'm either here or up here. But anyway, so maybe I'll do that later this week. We'll see. I'm working on a piece for the Metal Museum. I don't know if it's going to get there in time. It's for their Repairs Day auction, which is one of their fundraisers that they do. If you're not familiar with the Metal Museum, it's in Memphis, Tennessee. They're currently fundraising for their new building expansion. It's a beautiful, beautiful building We saw their old location where a show is up, where one of my pieces in right now. But we drove by the new building, and it's this really cool mid-century modern, very kind of sleek new building, and that's a big project. I think they said it was like 20 million or something to do that project. And I was like, well, maybe I can make y'all like $5. Um, so I'm making a piece for them. I'm almost finished. And yeah, so hopefully I can get that in the mail so it gets to them in time. If not, maybe they can hold it for next year or something. I don't know. Um, and so also, what else are we doing? If you didn't hear yesterday, I talked a little bit about the witches, the Ligonier Witches Bike Brigade that's coming on October 22nd. The tickets are live. If you're interested, Google the Witches Bike Brigade and make sure you go to their official Facebook page, and it has all the information on how you can get tickets. They sell out. So if you want to come and hang out with us on that day and be a part of the festivities, just know that you've got to kind of hurry up and get the tickets. If you don't get a ticket, you can still come to town, like any other day. And also that evening, we're having a kind of Halloween inspired art show. So if you are interested, we've got 16 different artists who are participating in the group show. If we had a bigger project wall, I would have invited more people, but I think that we're going to be like bumping up against the borders, hanging everything. We've got some really cool sculptural work. There's small scale paintings. There's all kinds of, there's even a little bit of bead embroidery that's going to be shown, which we haven't really shown before, but I think it's really cool and you all will hopefully enjoy it. So a lot of stuff going on. Of course, Fort Ligonier Days is coming up. That's in the middle of October, the first or the second full weekend in October is the Fort Ligonier Days. So if you're local-ish or you're wanting to come to town and experience it, they have tons of craft booths and fair food, and it's a really festive day. So I hope people will enjoy that. And then sooner than that, a little bit sooner, we rescheduled our book club meetup. We're going to be talking about braiding sweetgrass and the invisible hour. And we're going to do that on October 9th. So put that on the schedule. It's a weird day for that, but I'm traveling at the end of September and the beginning of October. And I generally like to be around for those. So unfortunately, that's the only day that we could make it work because it's going into our busy season. I don't know. It feels like we're always busy, but the fall leading into the holidays is like our hustle time. So that's when we have to like work as hard as we can to make money for the winter. And because in winter, things kind of slow down almost to, nobody comes in hardly during the winter time. So as soon as that hits, we have to kind of start gathering our acorns and preparing for the cold time. I feel very like agrarian doing that, but it is what it is. Let's see. I see some more people have tuned in. Let's see. Terry's watching. She says, what a day this has been in our beading world. She's probably referring to the news that TierraCast is closing at the end of this year. They've been a really wonderful organization or business. We've worked with them a lot over the past 20 plus years. So it's sad that they are going away, but it's a different world. And if you are kind of privy to the goings on behind the scenes, it may not come as a huge surprise because the owners had retired a while ago and they've been slowing things down. And I don't think the pandemic helped. So, unfortunately, that's one of the realities of this kind of new world that we're embarking on. Is you have to love it or lose it kind of situation. And there's a lot of other people who I'm not going to tell because I'm not supposed to, but they're gearing up to close. So um, yeah, it's always kind of an ever-present thing in the back of my mind because whenever I hear about that, these companies that are kind of like the benchmarks in our industry that of success, and then they're like, well, we're having trouble and we're having to close, so we're such a much smaller uh, business. We're like a micro business in comparison, and so it does trouble me sometimes. But I'm sending lots of good energy to all the folks who are losing their jobs. Hope I know some of them are going to be shifting into retirement, so I hope they enjoy their retirement. And for the folks who are still working, I hope they can find places in the bead world. I wish I had, a lot more money and I could like pick up the people who are losing their jobs. Um, but it's hard enough to keep me and William going, let alone picking up people that would have to be moved across the country. So, anyways, we're sending lots of good energy their way. We're gonna try to pick up some new stuff. They're stopping production, I think, on the beginning of September, which is like next week. So it's actually Friday is the beginning of September, but I think it's the 8th. They're stopping production. So yeah, so that's kind of a big thing in our community. Um, and yeah, so our thoughts are with them in this transitional time, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. I've seen a couple people give them flack for closing, and it's like I I kind of feel like this every time there's people like, oh no, they get upset at them for closing, and because they're like, well, I'm not going to have my reliable source for XYZ anymore. And like, I get it, your source is drying up. However, it's not an easy choice to close a business, especially one that's spanned over 40 years. Um, so if you do have dealings with them in the near future, I would say give them grace and be as kind and as respectful, because it's hard. It's really hard. If you've ever lost a job or had to transition or closed a business, it's not easy. So let's all send them some good energy as they go forth. And yeah, all right. I'm not going to dwell too much on that because it's kind of a bummer, y'all. I've kind of had a really weird day with kind of nasty messages and things like that. Um, One of the things, I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but some people get really like they are adamantly opposed to vintage plastic, and they are like they hate it with a deep and abiding passion. Um, and they get mad at people who use it, and I just don't get that. Like, if you are working with a material and you're happy you're working with a material and it's not really hurting anybody, I mean, everything has an impact in our world. Everything, there's nothing that doesn't have an impact on our world. um, then yeah, it's just really weird to me how some people are so adamantly opposed to it. And then they vent their frustrations on people who are just like going about their business, trying to live their lives. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we were very fortunate to be asked to participate in a project that Ava Motherwell of the Whole Bead Show is doing. She made these kits and sent them to some different designers around the country. I was one of them. And then now they're up in a competition. If you want, and if you are so inclined, you can go over to the Whole Bead Show Facebook page. And there is a post where if you click on the pictures, you can vote on your favorites. Um, and I think we're in second place, but we're like way far down from who's in first place. So uh and like usually I like try to really peer pressure people to vote and get out there. But if you have the time and you're interested in doing that, then I recommend you doing it. I think that there's a lot of beautiful creations that were made, and I personally enjoy the challenge, and I love to see what everybody made. So hopefully, if you need a little dose of inspiration or you want to see what people made, you'll check that out. And if you are so inclined, please vote for your favorites. I think that that is one of those things where it's a free way that you can help boost the signal. Participating and engaging in any kind of social media um, outpour, like posts or whatever, you are boosting that signal. And maybe you don't have the cash or you don't have the money to buy new things, but somebody may do that, or somebody who is a part of that algorithm, they'll see that post and then then help support that small business. I mean, do you think it's one of those things where I don't want to, I don't know, I kind of feel like they're I don't know. I feel like I'm holding my breath a little bit for some stuff that's going to come in the future, and I don't necessarily like that feeling, but it is a reality of that. And um, anyways, so we're just thankful for all of your support out there. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. If you did not get a chance to like and share our posts, please do so. It does help spread the word, and it's nice to do so. Um, Diane says, will there be regular class Friday then? To my knowledge, yes. So um, because there was that VIP group coming in, we had canceled in-person make and take classes on Friday. However, since they're not coming, I think that it should be regular as usual. Jen is away this week, but she was coming back specifically for that class. So at the very least, William will be there, maybe. I don't know actually, because I don't work in this store, so sometimes I have to uh, I'll get confirmation from William tomorrow, and I'll make sure we share that information on the website. The other thing that I did not mention that's coming up is we're going to be closed for Labor Day on Monday, the 5th, 6th, the one that's coming up, the Monday, Labor Day. We're going to be closed for Labor Day. So if you were planning to come to town and you wanted to stop in and see us, let us know and we can pop in and open up. But we're going to be close to the public. One of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on the back room, which is kind of a big project. And we can't do it when we're open because we're gonna be knocking stuff down. So yeah, so we'll be around, but we're not gonna be open. So, and I don't want to really like if you're coming, let us know. You can email us at info@allegorygallery and we'll hook you up. All right. Let's see. Diane says, "Oh, that's right. I have to get my witch ticket." Yeah, it's really nice because you can wear your badge of honor, and it supports different animal organizations in the area. When we were, I think we were moving our store at the time. Um, so this was maybe 2018. We were moving into our new location, and yeah, so Paolo got sick. I'm bringing up all the buzzkills today, aren't I? Anyway, so he got sick, and we were really strapped for cash because we were moving the store and had invested all of our money kind of on the store move. And he got sick and had to have an emergency vet issue. Uh, Trips, and we were like, how are we going to pay for all of this? It was very, very stressful. And they swooped in and helped cover some of the expenses. So I'm eternally grateful for them. He ended up living an extra year because of their intervention. And it was really hard. That was our first fur baby that we had together who had passed away, and it was really, really hard for us. So, um, yeah, so yeah, that was hard, but they stepped in and they helped, so that was really great, and we appreciate them. And now that we're a little bit in a better position, now that we always try to give a little wherever we can to help support the cause. Um, and yeah. Danette says, I got some beads from you today. I love the luxury bead blend for Halloween 2023. I'm new to the AG bead fam. Do your bead blends for Christmas and winter? Do we do those? Yes, we generally do. Um, and sometimes they're more kitschy, which is fun. And sometimes they're more like elegant, or whatever, sophisticated. I don't know what the word is for that. But we try to do stuff to celebrate the seasons because we know that's important to people. So we try to do that. And we also do. We used to do this more. Is we used to do more seasonally based classes. We haven't really done a ton of those, mainly because our in-store programming is just ramping up again. So yeah, we're slowly getting back up to speed. It's just a challenge because we had to pivot our business during the pandemic. So most of it moved online like this. Um, and it takes a lot of energy and hard work because we go live every weekday. And, we didn't necessarily develop superpowers over the pandemic. So we have to balance everything, and it's even more of a challenge. I don't know. I feel like we were working 4 times as hard for half as much, but we are thankful for everything that we can get because it does support our lives. It keeps a roof over our head and food in our plates, and so I'm super thankful. It's not as it was a hard situation before, and it's a harder situation now. But I'm going to focus on the positive. Um, let's see. It skipped. Um, Marion said that Wendy Whitman passed away in a motorcycle accident. I don't think I knew Wendy. So our thoughts are with their family in this hard time. um, and Susan says, Diane, I'm just gobsmacked over all these changes. Yeah, I think that's something that we're all having to I think that's one of the things that's nice about what we have here is we have a community and we have friendships here and we can, be there for one another in the good times and the bad times. So I think we're lucky to have this community where we can, have share our goods, our roses and our thorns, as they say. Susan says Mercury retrograde issues. If you don't like vintage plastic or any other material, then don't use it. That's my sentiment. It's such a weird thing. I think it's something where it comes like in as like a control thing. I'm not a trained psychologist, so I cannot or I can't give you the information of why people do what they do. I do self work on myself a lot, so I know why I do certain things and why I react poorly to situations. And so, like, I get why some people do the things they do. However, it's not really necessarily an excuse. I do think that it's in this thing where we exist in a world where kindness is needed uh, more than anything. Um, and kindness not only to the people but to the people who are strangers who you may encounter casually. I was at a restaurant not too long ago and picking up, I think, a coffee or something. And I saw somebody lose their mind on the barista or the checkout person. And I was just like, if you've never worked a service job, you don't know how hard it is. And even if you have worked in a service job, then that thing, like a little thing can happen and it can really put you in the weeds. We're watching this show in the evenings called Five Star Chef. And I was like, I don't know if I should be watching this because it's like ratcheting up my anxiety. But it's like at the expo center or expo station where you get tickets and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, this is giving me the PTSD. Um, but like, I think it's one of those things where stuff happens, and most of the time, it's not out of people's, they're not doing it to be malicious or stuff. They're doing it because they're encountering an issue and it's out of their control. And so I just think people should be, try to be a little bit kinder to one another um, and, treat people the way that they would want to be treated. Danette says, why do people have to be nasty? If somebody doesn't like something like the vintage classic, move on. I agree, there's a lot of stuff that I don't use. And I do tell people sometimes, like, I don't like to use Unikite. Sorry, y'all. But if you like Unikite, that's good because I put it in these sales because I'm like, that's not for me. Anyways. Suzanne says that she voted for me already. Oh, thanks. Dan says, I can't imagine being so mad about something or someone using some material that I would actually message someone to yell at them. Yeah, me neither. I mean, if it was like the hearts of cats, then I would be like, maybe I would be tempted to say something. Or if it's like the blood of a child, then I'd be like, whoa, maybe don't you, what are you doing? What are you doing? But in this case, it's like a material that's commonly used that, um, yeah, so it's just weird. Marion says, if you don't want to use vintage plastic, then just don't, but do it quietly because we don't care that you don't like it. Correct. And it's hard to tell people that. And sometimes when I express my frustrations with people sending me these types of messages, people are like, oh, well, you need to grow a thicker skin. And it's like, at what point do I have a thick enough skin that at what point do I have a thick enough skin? Like, I think my skin's pretty thick already. So, but at what point do people, instead of blaming the victim or blaming the person who gets the negativity put towards them, instead of blaming them. At what point do we hold up people who are acting out accountable for their actions? Instead, they get a free pass where it's like, oh well, they're just negative because they had a hard day or whatever. And it's like, well, I have hard days too, but I don't take it. I try not to take it out on people. So, I just think it's such a weird thing. And then people are like, oh well, if you're going to be a successful artist and you can't take criticism, then you just need to find another job. And it's like, delete, unfollow, block. No. Anyways, I should change the subject because it's kind of a bummer topic on top of bummer topic. Um, Susan says, I saw the creative responses to Ava's kit and I found them wonderful and I did vote for you. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing what everybody made because I think that that's I love to see what people will make. We've been doing design challenge kits for a long time, y'all. I think 14 years or so, because we had it before the store. And I still get excited to see what people make and how their creativity will take things that are the same components and change it up. And everybody has a different way of seeing things and a different way of making things. So I always like to see what they do with that. Yeah. Cheryl says, I love the vintage lucite and plastic beads. So many of them have character. Jewelry designing comes in all forms. I agree. Marion says that it's the 4th that we're going to be closed for Labor Day. I have a class this weekend at Touchstone. I'm super duper excited. I'm going to be working with Sharon Massey. I'm going to knock on the wood because the last 2 times I've tried to take this class, this enameling on steel, either it's been they changed the date, or we got into a show, we got into Handmade Arcade, and unfortunately couldn't attend. And I was so happy that I could finally take this workshop. Sharon is a really awesome person. She runs the jewelry program at IUP up in Indiana, Pennsylvania. And she's a really talented and amazing person, super kind and super knowledgeable. And so I really enjoy her. And so I'm super excited. That's this weekend. I'm super excited. I'm going to say it again. I'm super excited. And it's weird because I'm excited mostly on the inside. It feels like firecrackers are going off, but in a nice, pretty way that doesn't disturb the animals. Suzanne says, I've been emotional crying all day. That's sad. I'm sorry that you're having a hard day. One of my friends, and I know I'm digressing and going way far off topic, but today was the day that it's the anniversary of Katrina hitting land. And like for me, I wasn't in that area that got affected, so I didn't really think of it. But some of my friends, they had to completely change their lives because of it. Um, and they were sharing some of their stories from when they were displaced. And it was really sad and scary to hear some of those stories. So I'm glad that they were able to, turn things around. But I didn't really think of it as being an anniversary date for that. But I guess it's like fresh in people's minds also because in Florida, people are affected by the weather right now too. So it's kind of like, brings up a lot of stuff. Danette says, oh no, Suzanne, hope tomorrow is a better day. A friend of mine told me one day when it was a bad day. This too shall pass. Suzanne says, thanks, Danette. It's partly the hurricane. And then folks are talking about the weather. Susan says, weird day here. We had a quiet impromptu picnic in a local park and an uneventful shopping trip. Well, that sounds nice. Suzanne says, the weather is fine. After Katrina, each hurricane brings back bad memories. Yeah. That's not awesome. I think it's such a weird thing how we experience these tragedies in our lives on a national or global level, and there isn't really the tools to implement healing to help people who survived some rather horrible things. And then we as a society just like pick up and we're like, oh wow, everything's fine, everything's good, let's just keep going. And there isn't that real kind of opportunity to collectively work on healing. And so I don't know, I think it's one of those things that I would love it for a time to come where we can focus on the people and how things affect people and work towards helping those people. But again, I'm going far off topic. Let's see. But my next door neighbor came home from work and found someone breaking into his mailbox. Lots of shouting, screaming, and tires squealing, and cops showing up. I'm expecting my AG box too. Oh no, that's not great. Susan says, mail thief, leave my beads alone. Yeah, that sucks. Julie says, no excuse for being rude. Julie, I have something that's going in the mail for you. So, let's see. All right. So, Donna says, I've had to outrun at least 3 hurricanes. It's awful. Plus, we've had damage in central Alabama from several recently, like in 2021. Yeah, we were in Kentucky, of all places, and we were picking up my hydraulic press. And we went through this town, and it was super cute. And it's called Hindman, and everything was boarded up and it looked so charming, but it looked like there was like things like we will be back and things like that written in graffiti on the walls and stuff. And apparently they had some really bad storms come through, and there was flash flooding and people died. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where, like, I don't know, like I don't necessarily actively think about weather being something of a concern. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but like I don't really think about it until it like hits home. So I don't know. Anyways, Janice is watching. Hi, Janice. So let's talk a little bit about why we're doing these fundraiser lots in the first place, and then we'll get to it. How about it? It's a weird energy day. It's also the super full moon and the blue moon today, so maybe that's why the energy's been off today. People getting like there's a Mercury retrograde, and I think every other planet's retrograde, so I can see why it's a day. So anyway, yeah, so one of my other friends is going through a transition in her life where she's having spinal surgery at the end of this year and has decided to stop traveling to teach. So she's got these kits that she's put together for her classes that she used to teach, which has all the tools. All of the tools, or at least most of the tools, are made right here in the US, and they are things that they've used mostly for things like microshell forming, anti-clastic, synclastic forming, that kind of thing, some raising tools, lots of really wonderful things. And she's putting these on discount and put together these bundles. And so we're trying to raise money to do that. It's been a little bit slow in the store. We're not really back to pre-pandemic numbers yet. So there isn't that kind of wiggle room that we usually have to do different things like that. So we are raising money so that we can get that. And another friend who's local here is retiring, and they are selling off some of their tools. So we're trying to make a little bit of extra for that as well. So lots of things like that. It helps everybody involved. It helps us. We'll be able to make more things, teach more classes, and outfit the studio in the new building in Johnstown. That got pushed back. The opening, we were trying to open in September, but I think we're going to just plan to open in the spring and maybe do a soft launch online. So that we can kind of build up the business virtually first. I think that's a good idea. If it's up to me, we just rush in, but that's not an awesome way. Somebody said that I should do a fundraiser for somebody else. I don't actually know this person, so it would be weird for me to do something for somebody that I'm not closely familiar with. So I will leave that up to the other people who are doing stuff. Or are they talking about for my friend? This is so that she can help pay for her or when she's not working. And can make money. So we are kind of, pushing the money in my friend's direction. So, but if you're talking about the person who passed away, I don't really know them. So that would be weird, I think. So, anyways, that's what we're doing. This money goes to them. And so, all right. So, I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to get to it. So, you're going to see the ceiling for a second. Let me see. All right, so let's do this. All right, so I've got my magic penny. That was posting on somebody's order. Let me put this. All right, so there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. One of the things was back in the day, I had been approached by a publisher to write a book about bird inspired jewelry. If you don't know, and if you're new to our page, you may not know that back in the day, I used to write for books and magazines and would appear on TV shows, mostly on PBS, about DIY jewelry making. And so I've been published in 6 different books and probably 30 or more magazines. And so, yeah. So we've been I don't really do that as much nowadays, mostly because they don't really have a bunch of magazines anymore. So I don't publish as much as I used to. But at one point, I had been asked to together a book proposal for bird-inspired jewelry, and that kind of went to a certain point, um, and then my life changed, and so then I was like, nah, never mind. So for a while I had been collecting different bird themed jewelry components, and so I have a ton of different things. And one of the things that I have are these really cool Limoges cabochons, and so I was making these kits that I was going to sell that were based on the projects in that book, but that book never happened. And somebody was saying, "Oh, well, you should just do self-publish the book." But I mean, it's been over 12 years, and things have, stuff has changed, and I don't, it's kind of like, like, oh, living in an apartment that you used to live in when you were in college is not necessarily the same thing as like living in the house that you live in now, kind of sort of thing. So, anyways, um, we have so I have some of those cabochons and some of the kits that I made. They're kind of not really a kit, but I also realized that finding the settings for some of the cabochons is not necessarily easy. So what I'm doing is I'm putting one of the cabochons together with one of the vintage brass um, settings. And I can talk a little bit about that in a second when I show them to you. But I wanted to give you a Oh, okay. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Before we get into that, I know it's kind of a jumble today, y'all. Before we get into that, I did want to talk about some of the stuff that we restocked for our Halloween update. We did get some more things. I managed to track them down. So I'm just going to quickly go through the restock. This one sold out and was super popular. It's this pewter pendant, a mummy pendant with soft enamel, which is basically resin. And that's on our website. That's at going to be at www.allegorygallery.com. So we had that restocked. Another thing that we were able to restock. Oh, and that pendant retails for $350. This is one of the gold-plated steel components. This also sold out, but we were able to restock it. It's this really cool kind of like potion bottle with a protective eye and a crescent moon and some stars. So that gold-plated stainless steel component is also restocked on our website. That's allegorygallery.com. And if you're looking for any of our Halloween pieces, we have a whole collection. So if you go to the website, there is a section devoted just for our Halloween kind of offerings. So I know somebody is like, well, it's not even September yet, and you're already doing Halloween. But by the time we like ship stuff out and people have a chance to work with it, then it's kind of, we get closer, it makes more sense. Most of the stuff that we sell, we're selling to people who make stuff. And so we kind of figure that they'll need a little bit of time to work with the materials. So that's why we have to start so early for Halloween. Um, so that's one of the reasons. So this sugar skull pendant is a pewter pendant that has a piece with some resin on top. And that has also been restocked. Danette says, I got that sugar skull today and she loves it. Oh, great. All right, let's see. What else did we get? And the sugar skull retails for $2 on the website. Another thing that we restocked is, let me grab this real quick. Everything's in bags, so it's a little bit, I don't know. Is this really cute, kind of blingy bat charm? They're pave crystals set in this pewter charm. Those are also restocked on the website. Those go for $2.25 each. And those are now back in restock on the website. Now, another thing that was restocked from our last kind of Halloween charm debut from last week was another stainless steel piece. These ones, this is a witch with her familiar on a broom. I'm listening to this book series by Nova Nelson, and they're really charming. And they're about this person who wakes up in a town and they have powers now. And that's a really terrible synopsis, but I don't want to give too much away. But they're really fun and charming, and they're easy listens. So, anyways, this is restocked on our website. That's allegorygallery.com. And we have some new pieces also. Those stainless steel pieces go for $3.75. So I think that's it for the restock. But we do have some new pieces that are debuting tonight. And they are in the website. I think they are on the website. If not, they will be directly after this video. This pendant, I'm going to show you next to the penny so that you can see the size comparison. This is, it's kind of, looks like an origami, kind of geometric bat. This is a pewter piece. Oh, it's brass that's been rhodium plated. Rhodium plating is nice because you don't get tarnishing. So and it's got, it's nice. This is a cute pendant. So, and if you're not into Halloween, if you're a DC fan and you like Batman, here you go, or Batgirl, or Nightwing. So those are going to be on the website for $5.75. We also have that in a gold tone. This is a gold-plated brass charm, and it's one of the geometric bats. It's this one, and it's in a gold. It's gold because it's gold-plated, and that's going to be on our website also tonight. And that is going to be $5.75 also. I wanted to go through these really quickly so that when we get into the regular fundraiser lots, it doesn't get confusing. Because sometimes it can get confusing when you have different ways of getting stuff. Let me take this ring off. All right. We got also these really cool gold-plated pewter pave set skull and crossbones, and they have little heart eyes. So they're really cool. A little bit of bling. It doesn't always have to be all creepy. It can be creepy with a little bit of bling. Those are also going to be debuting in the website tonight. It's like a connector link. So there are two holes on either side. So this would be really great for like a bracelet, or if you, you could string it so that you have your jump rings coming down, and you could do it almost kind of like a chainmail kind of accessory and make earrings. Or if you want to just have a pendant, you could put two jump rings, one on either side of the skull, and then maybe do some smaller ones and connect it maybe. And that's a good idea for that. So that will also debut on the website tonight. That's $3.75 per pave set skull link. So those are going to be online. Oh, if you saw just now when we restocked the magic potion bottles like this in steel, we only had them in gold to begin with, but I was able to track them down in the natural stainless steel. These are $4.25. These will also debut tonight on the website. So that you can just put it in your shopping cart. We did get limited quantities on these, so if you are interested and you're like seriously wanting them, then you kind of have to get them, because I don't know if I'll be able to get more in or not. I felt lucky that we were able to get them in uh, the ones that we did get, because a lot of places, some of our vendors had been sold out, and they were also having limited supplies. This is a new one that's going to also debut tonight. This is a stainless steel crescent moon with stars kind of pendant. These would be awesome for earrings. They're super lightweight. They're super durable because they're made of stainless steel. These are $2.50, and those will also be available this evening on the website. So that's allegorygallery.com. All right, so we've got some other things that are going to be new and debuting tonight. And these ones are super dang cute. Diane says, I love that moon. Thanks, I like it too. Vanessa says, the moon is fun. Now this is a little charming, kind of little dancing skeleton with a little bow on its head and a little jack-o'-lantern trick-or-treat basket there. And it's kind of like set up so it's a pendant, so it can move. It's articulated, which I think is really cool. If you wanted to hang something from the other hand, you could do that because there's a little hole there. So this is really charming. That is it's kind of festive. I know some of our stuff is kind of cutesy this year, and I'm not mad about it. I think it's good not to take yourself too seriously all the time. So this pendant, this articulated skull pendant or skeleton pendant, is going to be $5.25. That's also going to be in the online store. Suzanne says, cute is cool. Vanessa says, love that. I would do earrings, shake my head, and watch them dance. Yeah, that would be super cute. What do they call it? Shake them bones. All right. Oh, and the last thing that's going to debut tonight on the website in our Halloween collection is this pewter owl button. This is super cute. I collect owls, and this is really charming. These are only $1.50 per button, and these are a pewter with a nice silvery finish on it and shiny finish. And those will be available on the website tonight at allegorygallery.com. All right, so let's go into the fundraising lots. We're going to pick up where we left off at FL. We did 40 lots last night, so we're going to start at FL 41. All right. Let's see if we can get them a little bit closer. All right, so as I had mentioned, I didn't write all of the book, but I was under proposal to do a book that was inspired by birds, jewelry inspired by birds. So it was mostly stringing. So I collected a bunch of different things that I thought would be cool. and one of them was these Limoges. These are glass cabochons, and they're Limoges. Now, original Limoges is where they take China paints and different kind of vitral, vitrifiable paints, pigments, and then they fuse it onto the surface. And usually that's like painted one at a time. But these were probably made maybe the 70s. And so by that point, they had developed a technique where they could take the pigments and make them into decals. And then the decals were applied to these glass cabochons and then fired. So it's basically like a decal painting. So you get this, which is the glass cabochon, but you also get this antique brass, vintage antique brass setting. So you just pop that in there. You open up. If it won't fit in smoothly, you just open it up, and then you can use pliers to very carefully work from the top to the bottom, then side to side, and then you keep going around. And what that does is if you work all from one side, you can pop your cabochon out and move all the material on this side, and it will be a little bit cockeyed. So um, that so if you want it to sit in the setting smoothly, then you work from one end and then you go to the other, and then go back and forth around and the cardinal points. um, if you want to hang your piece because you're like, well, what do I do with this setting? You just pull up one of the tabs, and that is where you can put a jump ring. But if you wanted to have this be down and have the bales come up on the sides, you would just kind of measure, count how many are different, and then put them up so that you can hang it from a chain. Or if you have a piece like this where you may want to hang it like on a bracelet, then you could do both sides, just as long as though you get these are able to fold down. If you wanted to, you could also scuff up the surface, and there's a texture on the back of these glass cabochons. So you could put an adhesive, like Loctite, and put that in there, and then put the folded around. If you want, you could also fold this around and then put your stitches in this if you're into bead embroidery, and that adds a nice kind of gilded frame. If you're not interested in that, you can also just use this separately, glue this down to like a lacy stiff stuff or a suede, and then bead embroider around it. I also showed in one of my past tutorials how to create a seed beaded setting for cabochons. So this is FL41. It's $8 for this set. I'm not going to break up the sets. Um, so if you just want the cabochon, you kind of just get that as like a bonus. If you want this for some reason and you don't want the cabochon, it's still $8 because I'm not breaking them up. Um, multiple lots available. I have 3 of this specific Limoges cabochon available. All right. I had to dig through a warehouse to get this, so I hope y'all like that. I got invited to go to this warehouse in Texas, and I was digging through. They didn't say that the pieces were on a pallet, so it was all firmly packed up. So I must have went through hundreds and hundreds of boxes to find those. So I have that design, and I'm gonna I won't leave them on the screen because I was gonna leave them on the screen, but I have a couple different designs. So this is FL42, and this has got the same setting, the vintage brass setting that's been stamped out like that. And then I also have, it's this really beautiful gold, this yellow bird. I can't remember. It's not a goldfinch. It's, I don't know where my birders at. Y'all probably know this is a wood thrush. I can't remember. But anyway, so this is um, lot FL42 and is $8, and there's 6 of these available. If you are interested in any of the FL lots, please email us at info@allegorygallery.com. If you've changed your address recently or you are a first-time purchaser, please send us your shipping address so that we can calculate your shipping. We can, if you also have moved, we need, if you actually want your stuff, we need that new address so that it gets out to you. So this is lot FL42 and is $8 for this. It's a glass cabochon, and the technique on this is called Limoges. It's a Limoges decal, and then you get the setting as well. Now I have, I'm packing these up separately where these are in little bags. And the reason why is because these settings, they're super nice. I like them. They're very versatile. But they can scratch the paint because this is basically, it's like a painted surface. So that's why I have them in that protective bag in there so that they don't get scratched up. If you're going to go to like a roller derby, I probably wouldn't get that. But but for regular wear and tear, it should be fine. All right, up next is FL43 is $8 for this set. This one is again with a vintage antique brass setting. And we have this one. Marion says Baltimore Oriole. Could be. Is this one. This fun kind of festive bird. This is lot FL43, $8 for the set. And there's 2 available if you're interested. Now, if you just say that you want FL43, you will get 1, or it's done on a first come, first serve basis. So if you're first and you win, then we'll send you 1 unless you say you want 2. So y'all have, I don't recognize any new people tonight. So you all know the drill at this point. But in case somebody's lurking and I can't see them, then yeah. So that's FL43 for $8, and I have 2 of those available. Now I have a couple more. Actually, I have a bunch of these in the different designs. So up next is lot FL44. This is also $8 for the set. And there's the little setting. I have 10 of these available. I thought this one, I don't know why I have so many of this one particular one, but I thought it was extra charming. So you have the male and female bird pair there with a little bit of a floral. This one looks as though it has another coating on top, so maybe that will make it a little bit more durable. Danette says, oh, you didn't put the banner up on the bottom. I guess I can add that. Sometimes I don't put that because it takes up room. But thank you for reminding me. All right, so this is FL44 is $8, and that's MLA 10. Or no, I have 10 available, so that's multiple lots available. So this is FL44 and is $8 for this set. And if you want multiple sets, you have to tell us. Because some of them people want more than one, and we don't know. Oh, I have to put this back in too. All right. So we have more lots of these, but they're different. So I hope people don't mind that we're, variations. This is lot FL45. This is $8. I only have 1 of these sets available. So you get that vintage brass setting. You can also, if you are doing metalsmithing stuff, you can drill holes in this and then use a rivet and set things behind. If you want a different kind of point of connection, you can do that. And it's for this bird. I love how detailed they are. I took a workshop from an artist named Mi Hook Soor, and she is one of the heads at Eastern Carolina University, and she teaches this technique. However, she teaches it in the where you're painting. So one of these days, I'm gonna have time in my studio. I was joking around with some of my friends who are also artists, and it's like, we need to do a residency where it's called Stay Home and Make Stuff. um because I don't know, I'm so, I feel like I'm just so tapped for time these days that I don't get a chance to make all these cool things that I'm learning how to do. And so I always try to do them while it's still fresh in my brain so I don't forget. But anyways, this is lot FL45, is $8, and I only have one of these. So if you want that one, you got to send us an email at info@allegorygallery.com. And there you go. All right, so that's lot FL45, $8. I only have one available. It's first come, first serve. I know a lot of people are into birds. When I was younger, I wasn't really into birds very much, but um, I don't know. I reached a point in my life where I'm like in it to win it for birds. Um, Owls don't count because I've always loved owls, ever since I was a little kid. So you get that setting. This is FL46, is $8, and this one, maybe this is a wood thrush. And I have 3 of these available. There's this really popular brand of vintage resin inspired jewelry called Hot Cakes, and she would make stuff kind of like that, where you would see those different kind of birds, but then had these really kind of ornate frames that were in cast resin. And they were super popular. I don't know if she still makes them. I think she said that she ran out of them, but anyways. All right, so this is FL47. It includes that little vintage brass setting. And I only have one, or I have 2 of these. And this is a robin. So there's that. I'll put that in there for the size comparison. And yeah, so if you're interested in claiming, you know what to do, y'all. Maybe William will come and surprise me. He'll come out of his pottery class and then he'll do it. I'm more fun when there's somebody else around. If it's just being me by myself, then everybody's like crying and stuff. So we're like, let's dig deeper and talk about our generational trauma. Anyway, so this is FL48. I have another set, and there's only one of these available. And here you go. This one. It's a bird in flight. I think that's very beautiful. I love these. I love bird paintings and painting birds. So at one point I was like, oh, I'll do all these emojis and I'll paint them myself. And I was like, or I could just have these vintage ones. I believe these are from the 70s. So that's my guesstimation. Now, moving on from birds, at one point, okay, so this is a different place. So I went to Providence, Rhode Island, and they have a bunch of warehouses there, and you never know what you're going to find. At one point, Providence was probably one of the major manufacturers of costume jewelry in the world. So there's a ton of equipment that's up there, and that's where a lot of casting was done, and a lot of things like that. Like Tiffany's is based out of there. There's a lot that's done there. So they have warehouses of all this like random stuff. And I found these melamine cabochons. This is a type of vintage plastic. Um, and it has scenes like historic American scenes. So I'm guessing this is Betsy Ross showing the flag. Y'all, this we're gonna have to go way back in the history machine. This is done in a similar technique, but the other ones are glass and these are not. So these are a little bit cheaper. But I found these, and I got these specifically because we're in a town that has a historic wooden fort that was super popular in the Revolutionary or French and Indian War. French and Indian War. Um, and so they have this fort, and all these reenactors come in, and people come who are historians and specialize in American history. And so that's why I got these, because it's kind of like a random, like he was like, oh, you know what I definitely want is like a Betsy Ross pendant. But if you want that, here you go. So this is FL49. This is a melamine or a vintage plastic with a Limoges decal on top. All right, and that's FL49, $6 for the set. I have 4 of those available. I have 4 of those sets available. If you are like, oh, I need to make 4 of those for my 4 best friend Betsy Ross friends. I have some more American history ones like that. Um, and this is going to be FL50, also $6 per set. The set includes one of these vintage brass settings. And this one is a battle scene, y'all. And y'all may know this one better than I do. I'm going to say it's Hamilton. It's probably not, but somebody got shot or stabbed with a bayonet, and then here you go, the British are coming. I'm assuming this is a famous painting, and it might be the Delaware crossing, but I don't know. That's one of those things where when I was younger, like I did just well enough to pass, to do well on the test, but a lot of that stuff is not anymore in my brain. I'm just being honest with y'all. Everybody's different. Some people like certain things and they retain certain things. American history was not one of the ones. But, as I get older, I'm more interested in it. And especially because we live in an area that has so much history. Like in Florida, where I grew up, you didn't have like the old history of stuff. Like, I mean, there's old history, but that's like, it's a different, you know. But here in Pennsylvania, there's a lot. So you get this setting, that vintage brass setting. And so some really pretty birds. Oh, I'm glad you like them. So here's another battlefield cabochon. And these ones, this is also that melamine. And I have 4 of those available. This is lot FL51 and it's $6 for the set. So I don't know if people like those or not. In theory, I have more of these hidden away somewhere that have different designs. But if people don't like them, then I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna hunt for them. But I don't know. I like them. I think they're cool. I think they're a cool way to learn about history. Um, you know, if you're into that. I know like reenactors, they're really into it. And we get a lot of reenactors. So, especially on fort days, people get dressed up. At some place, on one of the computers that we've had since we've opened Allegory Gallery, there is a bunch of pictures of people who are all dressed up in costume and period costume who are shopping. I thought that was pretty cool. So here's another one of the Malamine Limoges of American history. I think it was Ben Franklin who's talking. Maybe they talking about turkeys. Um, where's our like American history expert? So that's lot FL52, and it's $6 for the set, and there's 4 of those available. All right, I don't have too many more of these. I know people, if you're not into American history, then you'll be like, oh boy, here you go again. Another one. Bring back the birds, y'all. No, but it's pretty cool to think about. There is a place, when we first moved to Pennsylvania, I used to come through Pennsylvania a lot to do trade shows. And the first time I came, I had been living in New York City and had been used to, you go to like the bodega on the corner and you can get like a 6-pack. And when we first visited here, you either had to go to a state store or you had to go um, to a bar, and then you paid the bar prices for the beer, and like a 6-pack was like super expensive. I don't really drink very much anymore, but anyway, so when we visited, I was always like surprised. And we would like stop in West Virginia and like load up on stuff and then go across the border, so we didn't have to deal with that. But anyways, the Whiskey Rebellion actually was cited in a case by a local distillery out in Pittsburgh, the Weigel Whiskey Company, and they used that as legal grounds to start having distilleries. And so that historic case was used, or that historic event was used as a way to make it more accessible. So now you can go like to a gas station or a grocery store and pick up like a bottle of wine or cider or whatever. And you still, I think for hard liquor, you still have to go to like a distillery or a state store. But anyways, I thought that was pretty fascinating. Marion says, sorry, more into European history. Hashtag me too, but different kind of me too. But anyway, so here we go. It looked like Fort Ligonier days up in here. Anybody want to make some Fort Ligonier jewelry? Here you go. I bet you could. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but there you go. So for that set, this is that melamine with the Limoges technique with a decal, is FL53, $6, and I have 4 of those available. Suzanne says that she loves these. Oh, good. I know somebody, we were talking about like, when is your favorite time period that you would want to observe from? And somebody said some kind of war. I can't remember. All right. Up next, and it's the last of this one, is FL54, $6 for the set. You get a little setting. 4 of these available. And this one, is this one the crossing? This one might be Valley Forge. Donna says all these cabochons are so beautiful and detailed. Yeah, these are pretty cool. And they're lightweight too, which is I also like. This is either the crossing of the Delaware or that Valley Forge. I don't know. I heard when I was in school, they would tell the stories about how they got like locked away in at some point, and it was super cold and people were like starving to death and stuff. And I was like, I don't know about all this suffering business. But if you're into that, this is FL54 and $6. Um, at the Fort Ligonier, I believe they have some of his guns, and he stayed here. And so that's like our big claim to fame. Basically, you can in Pennsylvania, in this area, if he spent the night somewhere, there's a plaque somewhere that talked about how he spent the night at their inn. I'm pretty sure about it. All right, so the next one, I'm gonna have to zoom out for this one. So I decided to put together a fundraising lot kit because I know some folks love kits. So I put that together, and I hope people like this. Now I'm gonna save. I think the best for last of this kit. This is lot FL 55 and it's $28. You're gonna get these first crack at them, and whatever doesn't sell, then we'll put on the website. So you get a long strand of this Chinese crystal in this beautiful kind of cyan red color. You're going to get this vintage Czech glass in this beautiful kind of berry red. I like those. I could have used those for my braiding sweetgrass project. This vintage Czech glass has one of those protective eyes. It's also like for the Masons or Illuminati or whatever. I also have this mini strand of vintage Czech glass, and they're kind of like little wavy discs. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then I've got some vintage plastic in here. These rings. I love these rings. They're nice and lightweight, great for earrings. I also have these vintage plastic. These are a little bit more of an orangey color, but it has that gold. And those are included in that. And then I have these gold-plated pewter bead caps. And you can use these as bead caps where you put them on a larger bead. I mean, maybe a little bit different. This isn't in the kit, but if you had something or something like that, I would fit on that like that. Or you can put your bead caps together and make its own little bead. So you got 4 of those. You could also use them, like this also. The opposite way. As like a component. And then you also get one of these gold-plated pewter star buttons. And then my favorite is this luxury bead one. Now this should cost this because this is all metal and it's all gold. Most of it's gold plated, some of it's brass, but you get a lot, and there's a lot in here. Let me see if I have a little container so I can dump all this out so you can look at it. So that's a little ramekin. Of course, every mix is going to be slightly different. So you have this brushed metal one. I love this one. This little dimpled one. There's daisy spacers in it. There's all kinds of goodies. I love this mix. Useful. Marion says, "Sigh, where's a sugar daddy when you need one?" I don't know. Maybe try Tinder. But Donna says, "I know, right?" Well, there you go. All right, so this is FL55, and I really like them. All right, now this is kind of it got tangled up earlier, so I'm going to try not to, I'm going to try to untangle this mess and leave it to you to look at this for a while. So what have y'all been up to? Are you having fun? Do you like these lots? Is there anything that you're looking for that you haven't seen but would like to see? When I do these lots, I kind of am flying blind where I don't know what people will like. So it's been kind of random. But hopefully y'all have been liking these. I think I like to go through my stuff. I've been cleaning a lot, so this has been super helpful for me to kind of let go of things. So I'm almost done untangling all of this. All right. What y'all having for dinner? Marion says, "I'll pass on Tinder." I try to help. I don't know. There's that Golden Bachelor. I don't know if they have a Canada version of that. So what are y'all doing for dinner? I'm getting hungry myself. William, I think I'm gonna make a curry. I was gonna do the Mexican street corn last night, and then I was too tired, so I did not do that. For dinner last night, we made egg sandwiches, which were pretty good. Man says, "Thanks, Andrew." I'm looking out for my friends, y'all. I want y'all to be have all the sugar daddies you want. Somebody asked if I knew anybody who I could fix them up with. And I was like, I don't know if the people I know is even gonna be compatible with. LOL. All right. I'm trying to be good about including the MLAs in this because otherwise it gets kind of confusing. All right. Julie says chicken and mushroom, Alfredo, and bread. That sounds good. All right, let me bag this one up. And says, "I can't even stand to watch the younger people do The Bachelor. Don't think I can be watching the craziness of the senior Bachelor. I'm surprised it's still on the air." I don't really watch that kind of show, but I don't know. So everybody likes something different. We watch Project Runway, and that comes on Bravo. And there are a bunch of I don't know. There's these shows that I'm like, So basically, you just watch like rich people get drunk and fight. I was like, is that what this show's about? Because I don't really know. Um, so that obviously is not designed for me. But if you like it, go on ahead. Um, everybody's got to have the thing that they like, right? I like a lot of weird stuff, so. Oh, don't want to forget that little friend. Okay, I'm going to put this back down. Marion says cheesies for dinner. Is that like a chips? Like Cheez-Its? Julie says love Project Runway. One time I went and I got to go to the runway show in New York City. I worked in Bryant Park when they were doing it. All right, so this is lot FL 56. This is $10 per strand. I have 3 strands available. And they're all a little bit different. These are made in Indonesia and they're made to look like African beads. So I have 3 of these strands available. So if you want that, then you know what to do. Email us at info@allegorygallery.com. Include the lot number, and we will let you know and send invoices. We ship worldwide. However, I will say that sometimes the shipping is a little bit wonkadoodle when it's international. I shouldn't say that, but I'm just being honest with y'all. So, you know, we will work with folks to do our best. All right. So this is FL 56, $10 a strand. I have 3 of these available. We're going to move on to FL 57. I have 2 of these available, and they're kind of like a lime green. These are Indonesian, and they're based off of African glass. Marianne says, yes, for dinner with chocolate wafer cookies for sweets, more like a hard Cheetos, but so good. I have a vague recollection of maybe eating that and liking it. So I feel you. All right. Up next is FL 58. I only have 1 of these available. And this is a kind of cool, it's a matte finish and it's striped. These are made in Indonesia, but they're made to kind of look like old African beads. So I have 1 strand of this available. It's FL 58 and is for $10. And up next, I have FL 59. This is $10 also. And these are a different blue. This is kind of more of like a cornflower blue. And then this one is more like an aqua. And they're semi-matte finish. They're really kind of rustic. They're all different kind of shapes. Some are a little bit smaller. Some of them are a little bit larger. But that kind of gives you an idea next to the penny. That's FL 59, $10 per strand. All right. And then up next, I think this is going to be the last lot of the night for me. Is FL 60. I don't know. I just have, I don't know. Today is a weird day. So this is kind of has that cornflower blue, like in the previous lot. However, there's these orange stripes that go through it. And this is FL 60, and it's $10 per lot. And there's 2 of these strands available. So, oh, Jeanette said FL 59 would look great with FL 49, the Betsy Ross one. Yeah, I could see that. That could be good. Um, yeah. So this is the last law of the night. Um, I was gonna be like, oh well, well, maybe if people want to keep going, I'll keep going. But I have to finish that piece up tomorrow. There are some things that I'm working on in the background also that are super dang super cute. I think that I hope people will enjoy. And I want to say that we're going to release those on Friday. So keep your eyes peeled for that on Friday. Maybe if I can do it, I would love to release them tonight, but I don't think that that's going to happen. So keep your eyes peeled for some new things that are coming. I've been working super hard in the background to make everything. So I hope people will like them. If not, then oh wow. Um, all right. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'm not going to turn the camera around. I'm just going to say farewell with the camera turned on FL60. I only have two of those available. And say that I just wanted to say again that we appreciate you all so much. And we have so much gratitude for all of you out there who empower us to do what we do. Without all of you out there, we definitely would not be in business. As many of you know, the pandemic was really rough on small businesses and brick and mortar shops and a lot of the bead stores in the past few years. They were already starting to close, but then the pandemic really killed off a lot of them. There's a couple new ones that are opening up, and I try to be super supportive of them because I know how hard it is to get your business off the ground, especially if you don't if you don't have the connections or the resources or you're new to something. So I always try to be supportive of them when they're getting going so that the rising tide raises all boats. But for the most part, a lot of the local bead stores are not really thriving, and it's only through our online business that we've been able to stick around. So we are so grateful to all of you who believe in us and empower us to continue to do what we do. I feel very strongly that when we heal ourselves, we help heal the world. And for me, whenever I've had any hardships in my life, I've always turned to my creativity. And my creativity has always been the solution to any problem. Whether it's a design challenge or a life challenge, I've always been able to turn to my creativity to find a solution to hopefully solve any issue I've come across. There's some things that are much bigger than just one person. And I feel like we're lucky to have this community where we can share with our friends and, have a good time, be there for one another when things are hard. Today, judging from the comments from this video, was a more challenging day for a lot of people, myself included. And yeah, not always the best, but since we're here for each other, I think that that means a lot, I know, to me, and hopefully it means something to all of you out there who are a part of our hashtag AGBead fam. I don't when I was growing up, well, maybe you don't know, but I've talked a little bit about this before in the past. But when I was growing up, we really didn't talk about our feelings, and we didn't really. We were, we were kept never to reveal any of our emotions. That's how that we were taught to be. And as I've grown up, I've learned that, emotions are not necessarily weaknesses, but they are a strength. And being able to be vulnerable is something it's powerful. Being able to tell your story and to communicate your story is powerful. And we do that through our creativity and our offerings at Allegory Gallery. And I don't know, I think it's really important for me to be more vocal about how much we appreciate all of you, even if it sounds like I'm a broken record, because some places you just buy stuff and you get a pat on the back and you go and that's it. But for us, you all are the ones who are keeping us going. So whenever we think about things like a tool buyout, if it was just up to us, we couldn't do that. It financially would not be possible for us to undertake thousands and thousands of dollars more of equipment and tools. But because of all of you out there, we're able to do what we do. So thank you so much. And we appreciate you. And, you're part of our circle. So thank you for being a friend. Um, and on that note, I will say goodnight. Take care, everyone, especially all of you who are, having a hard day today. Our thoughts are with you, and we'll be back tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. And as one of our new friends said today, this too shall pass. All right. So have a great night, everybody. See ya.